Good morning and welcome to another video of informatics practices. This time we are going to take up chapter 5, which is MySQL revision tour. It's a revision tour because you have already studied MySQL in class 11, and this chapter it's just a revision of whatever you have studied in class 11. So we'll be quick with this video. Before we start with MySQL, we need to study DBMS. So the word DBMS is made up of, the full form is Database Management System, which is actually made up of three words. The first is database, then management, and then system. So let us start with what exactly is a database. Database is nothing but collection of data, and when we talk about data can be anything. It can be numbers, it can be letters, it can be words, it can be a video, it can be sound, anything. The word database is normally used only for computerized record keeping system. In a database, the data is logically related. It contains data information about one particular enterprise. So there can be several databases, but one database stores information related to one organization only. Say for example, a database of school will store information only related to school, which can be information about students, about parents, about teachers, about the courses students have taken, about the marks they have achieved, but everything is related to school. Similarly, database of hospital will have information only related to hospital. Then it can be information about patients, there can be information about doctors, about equipments, anything that is related to hospital. So one database contains data related to only one enterprise. It stores data in a systematic manner. Like we just took an example of school. So in a database of school, there can be several tables. One table will have information only of students, the other will have only of teachers, the third will have only of management. So there is a proper system which is maintained in a database. It meets requirement of different users. When we talk about school, the users will be students studying in the school, the teachers, the management, the parents. So all these people, whatever the requirement is, the database will be able to cater to it. It can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Accessed means it can be easily used. It can be managed. When we talk about managing, we are talking about adding details, changing the details, and updating means keep on changing it or keep on upgrading it. It is a place where related information is stored. Database, base means like we have a military base, we have an air base, we have a database. So it's a place where data is stored. And on this database, we can perform various operations like add, edit, edit is also modify, delete, etc. can be performed on a database. We can perform all this using MySQL, which we will be learning in a short while. So now that database is clear, let's go to management system. So database management system is a collection of programs, also called software. This software enables users to store, modify, and extract information from a database as per their requirement. Basically, it allows to work on the data. It's a tool to perform operations on data in a database. We can perform various operations using this tool. Some popular DBMS are MySQL, Oracle, System 2000, MS Access, MySQL Server, etc. Out of all this, we will be studying MySQL. Disadvantages of keeping data on manually. The first disadvantage is data redundancy. The word redundancy means duplication of data. When we are storing data manually, even if it's a simple data like a list of students studying in a class, so the class teacher maintains that data on a piece of paper, then the subject teachers will also maintain data because they also require names of students, so that there is a duplication of record. There is one paper with the class teacher with list of students, the other paper is with the subject teachers, then the third subject teachers, but information on all these three papers is same, so there is duplication of data. Data inconsistency. Now when three people are storing data, it can be stored in several ways. Okay, and say for example, if there is a change, say there is a change in a student's phone number, so obviously the student will go and contact the class teacher. So the phone number with the class teacher is different, but the phone number with different subject teachers is different, so the data is inconsistent. Data is not shared if it is kept manually. It is unstandardized. So the different people maintaining the database, so different people will write it in a different way. Say the class teacher is writing the name first and the surname afterwards. The subject teacher is writing the surname first and the name afterwards. The class teacher is storing data in the form of roll numbers, whereas the subject teacher may store data on the basis of houses. So the data is not standardized, and there can be incorrect data because it's not stored at one place. So correction at one place made at one place is not reflected in another place. So the data with other people is incorrect. To overcome this disadvantages, the computerized database management system was introduced, which reduces data redundancy because once the data is stored by any person, it can be used by many people. So the duplication of data is reduced. It controls inconsistency. So when obviously if the data is stored at one place, the changes will also be made at that place, so inconsistency is reduced. Facilitates sharing. Whatever is stored in computer can be shared through network. It enforces standards. Now if it is placed if the data is stored at one place, we can enforce some standards, like the data is stored only in capital letters, it is stored only in a particular format. So we can enforce standards when we are storing the data in computer through a DBMS. Centralized database ensures data security. If the data is at one place, we can ensure security in several ways, like we can ensure that we can ensure security through passwords, so only authorized people can use the data, they cannot delete the data. So many security levels can be set if the data is stored computerized, and it maintains integrity. Now what's a relational data model? In a relational data model, the data is organized into tables, and a table is made up of rows and columns. A table is collection of such relationship and it is referred to as relation in mathematical term. The word relation is a mathematical term. In normal terms, you can also use the word table, which means the same. The terms used in relational model and the terms that we are going to use many times in MySQL. So these are some terms: a relation, tuple, attribute, domain. degree, cardinality, view, primary key, candidate key, alternate key, foreign key. So these are some terms we will be regularly using in MySQL. So let us see each term one by one. The first term is relation, which is also called a table, and it is made up of rows and columns. It stores data logically. All the rows of table are distinct, and ordering of rows and columns is immaterial. Let us see an example to understand all these points. Say for example, this is a table. Okay, a table is also called a relation, where it's a table which stores information of students. So this column stores the serial number, this stores the name, and this stores the form, the class in which they are studying. So it is made up of rows and columns. These are rows and these are columns. The data stores logically related data. Means if it is a table of students, it stores only information related to student, then nothing else. So all this information is related to each other in some way. All rows of tables are distinct. Means there is no repetition in the row. The serial number 1, this is the name, this is the class. There is no serial number 1 coming again. So the rows are distinct. Ordering of rows and column is immaterial. So though I have stored it like this, it can be in any order. Serial number 5 can come first, then can come serial number 3, then 2, then 1. It can be in any order. It can be organized on the name of in the form of alphabetical order. So if I organize the same table on basis of name, this is already in alphabetical order, otherwise the serial number would change. If I organize this on the basis of class, then all students studying in Form 11 will come first, then will come Form 12. So the ordering of rows and columns is immaterial. These are called rows. The horizontal ones are called rows and the vertical ones are called columns. The next term was tuple. It's also called a row or a record. It contains all information of one item. Say for example, this particular row or record, it contains all information of one item. In serial number 1, his name is Arjun and he is studying in class 11. Serial number 2, the name is Vimal, he studies in class 12. So this is all related information of one particular item, or we can say one particular name. So that's a row. It's also called a record and also called tuple. All different names of the same thing. That's row number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 and 5. The next term was attribute. The another name for attribute is column or field. I have not mentioned it here, but it's also called a field. It contains one information of all items. Say for example, serial number field. It contains one information, that is serial number of all students. The name field contains name of all students. The form field contains form of all students. So one column or one field contains one information of all items. Say this field contains information of serial numbers of all the students studying in class. This field contains name of all the students studying in the class. So these are columns, also called attributes, also called field. The next term is domain. Domain is list of allowable input values of a column. So this is the table that we have. So we have 3 columns: serial number, name and form. So the domain for serial number means the domain for this column is all positive integers, because serial number or roll number cannot be negative, it cannot be decimal places. So the domain for this column is a list of all positive integers, maybe from 1 to 1000 or 2000, 10,000, anything. Any positive integer will make a domain for the serial number column. The domain for name column will be all possible alphabets, maybe in uppercase or lowercase. But what doesn't make a domain for this is numbers or punctuations, because name cannot have numbers, name cannot have any punctuation sign. So numbers, punctuation, symbols are not a part of name domain. What is the part of name domain? All possible alphabets in any case. Then the domain for form is a list of all classes present in the school, because this stores the class in which the student is studying. So if there are 12 classes, the domain for this is number 1 to 12. It cannot have a negative number or a symbol, because a student cannot study in say -2 class. He can only study in 2nd class or 3rd class or 11th class or 12th class. So the domain for this column is list of all classes present in school. So domain is list of allowable input values of a column. Then comes degree. Degree is nothing but the number of attributes in a relation. So in our table, how many? We have 3 attributes are also called columns. So we have 3 columns. So as we have 3 columns in this table, the degree of this table is 3. So what is degree? Degree is the number of columns present in a table. Cardinality is the number of rows or number of tuples present in a relation. So if this is our table, we have 5 rows. So the cardinality of this table is 5. If I increase 1 row, the cardinality will become 6. If I delete 2 rows, the cardinality will become 3. Now comes key. There are many keys. Key is basically an attribute. Now we know that attribute is also called a column or a field. So key is a field or a set of fields. So one field or set of fields which can be used to uniquely identify a tuple in a relation. So let us understand this with example. If this is our table, we need to understand what is a candidate key, what is a primary key, what is an alternate key. So let us first study candidate key. Candidate keys are all keys which can uniquely identify a tuple. So if you see this table, uniquely identify a tuple. Tuple is a row. So the serial number can uniquely identify a row. Name doesn't uniquely identify, because there are 2 names, the 2 students with whose name is Arjun. So the name field doesn't qualify to become a candidate key. Form, all the classes are different. So again, form, it qualifies to become a candidate key. In the marks column, the marks are repeated, 90, 90. So again, marks column doesn't qualify to become a candidate key. So candidate keys are all the fields where the value is not repeated. Now in our table, there are 2 fields where the value is not repeated: serial number and form. Primary key is set of 1 or more attributes that can uniquely identify tuples. So out of these 2 candidate keys, which field do you think will never have a value which is repeated? So if I increase more details in this table. There can be two students studying in class 10th, there can be two students studying in class 8th. So in that case, the form field will not qualify to become a key. So then we select serial number as primary key, because I know that serial number is never going to be repeated, and the serial number will always be there. There cannot be a record without serial number. So I am selecting serial number as primary key. An alternate key is a candidate key, that's not a primary key. So our candidate keys were serial number and form. Out of these two, we selected serial number as primary key. So form field becomes alternate key. In the students relation, serial number and form attributes have unique values. So these attributes are called candidate key. I also already explained you. Out of serial number and form, we select serial number as primary key. So the form field becomes alternate key. So when we start creating tables in MySQL, we will not create candidate key or alternate key. We will only create primary key. Then comes foreign key. The word foreign itself means outside. So foreign key means the thing which is coming from outside. A non-key attribute. Non-key means it's not coming from the table itself. It is coming from somewhere else, whose values are derived from the primary key of some other table, is known as foreign key in the current table. So to understand this, we will need two tables, a students table and a teachers table. Now if I want to store the information that who is the class teacher of this student, or who is the teacher teaching the student, I am writing a teacher number here, which is coming from another table called teachers. So if you say teacher number 11 here, teacher number 11, her name is Kayuri and she teaches informatics practices. For this student, the teacher number is 12, name is Abhinav and he teaches economics. So teacher number here is the foreign key for this table, and it is the primary key for the teachers table. Now say we add one record. Serial number 3, name is Sagar, he studies in class 12, and I write 16 here as the foreign key. Now if you see in the teachers table, teacher number 16 doesn't exist. So this is going to be a wrong record because teacher number 16 doesn't exist. So if we have created a foreign key, the DBMS will not allow such record to be entered in the database. This record will be entered because there is teacher number 15. Teacher number 15 is there in the teachers table. So this kind of record will be allowed. This table is called referring table because it refers to the teachers table, and this table is called referred table. So every time we make some entry in this table, it will go and refer to this table. Only if this number exists in this table, then only the record will be allowed to be entered, otherwise it will not be allowed to be entered. Now when we talk about foreign key, there is something called referential integrity. Referential integrity is a system of rules that a DBMS uses to ensure that relationships between the related tables are valid and that users don't accidentally delete or change related data. Say we have these two tables. Now if from this table I delete second row, which is teacher number 12, Abhinav and economics, if I delete this row, then this table will become meaningless because here it is teacher number 12, whereas the teacher number 12 doesn't exist here. So this table will become meaningless. So referential integrity will ensure that whenever I am deleting a record, it will go and check whether a related record is there in any other table. If it is there, it will not allow me to delete. So referential integrity can be set only if related fields have same data type. So these two fields are related, so they should have same data type. Both tables belong to same database. Okay, here these are tables. All the tables belong to one database, so it should belong to the same database. The matching field referring table is a primary key in the referred table. This is the referring table, this is the referred table, and this is the field which is matching. So this field should be a primary key in this table. When referential integrity is enforced, following rules are observed. You can't enter a value in the foreign key field of related table that doesn't exist in the primary key of primary table. In the previous example, I had shown that when we try to add a record with teacher number 16, it will not allow me to add because the record teacher number 16 does not exist in this table. A record can't be deleted or changed from the referred table if matching record exists in the related table. So if I want to delete teacher number 12, I cannot delete it because it is related to this table. If I want to change the name of this, I will not be able to change because there is a related value here. So I cannot delete this record if referential integrity is set, and the referential integrity can be set by making a key as a foreign key. And the last term is views. A view are virtual tables. Virtual means they do not exist in reality. They do not store any data of their own, but displays data stored in other table. It just displays. It doesn't make or occupy any space in the memory. A view can contain all or a few records from a table. A view can show data from one or more tables. Say we have these two tables. Now let's see example of view. We've created one view with names of students only of class 12. So there are two students in class 12, Bimal and Sagar. So this view contains only two records. Then there is one view. This view contains name of the students of class 12 along with the teachers teaching them. So these two columns, this column is coming from this table, whereas these four columns are coming from this table. So these are views. They do not occupy any space in the memory. They are just to display the records. This view is made up of this table. This view is made up of some columns from this table and some columns from this table. So view can show data from one or more tables. So what terms we covered so far? We studied what is a relation. A relation is also called a table. A tuple is also called a row or a record. Attribute is also called a column or a field. Domain is a pool of values. Degree is the number of columns in a table. Cardinality is number of rows in a table. View is a virtual table made up of other table or tables. Primary key is a field of a table on which relation can be set. Candidate key is field capable of being primary key, and alternate key is a field which is capable of being primary key but it is not made the primary key. So using MySQL, you will be creating tables, then you will be inserting records, you will be making primary key, you will be creating different views, and a foreign key is field from other table. Now let us understand what a DBMS is. Say this is the computer, it's called a client because this is the place from which you are going to store the data or you're going to receive the data. And this is the database, it's a place where the data is saved. Now I've made separate pictures, that doesn't mean it's a separate place. It can, in the same computer, there can be a client and there can be a server. It can be in the same place or the data can be stored at a different place. But when the client wants to store some data in the database, it goes through a DBMS. So when the client wants to store something, it will send it to DBMS and the DBMS will send it to server. Vice versa, when the client wants to receive some information, the DBMS will send it, the database will send it to DBMS and the DBMS will send it to client. Some popular DBMS are Oracle, MySQL, MySQL Server, out of which we will be studying MySQL. So MySQL is a popular management system, popular database management system. It uses SQL. The full form of SQL is Structured Query Language. Structured means there is a set of rules which you have to follow. Query means questions. In this language you can ask questions and the server will reply to your questions. It is available for free from this website, www.mysql.org. In MySQL, information is stored in the form of tables. A database can contain many tables and thousands of records. It provides secure environment for storing, maintaining and accessing data. What is MySQL and SQL? To access data within MySQL, SQL is used. They are related to each other. So when we want to access some data in MySQL, the SQL language will be used. SQL is used to access, update and manipulate data in a database. MySQL is used to keep the database organized. MySQL can store, modify and administrate a database. The SQL statement means the commands that we are going to study in SQL. They are basically divided into three categories. The first category is data definition language, which has all the commands that defines the data. So creating, altering or dropping a table or granting and revoking privileges or maintenance command. These type of commands come in DDL, data definition language. Data manipulation language has all the commands which manipulate the data. Manipulate the data means retrieval, insertion, deletion and modification of data. And the third category is transaction control language, TCL. It's made up of commands that manage and control transactions, like undoing some changes, creating save points, setting what is save point, or how can we retrieve the data, or how can we create a table. All these commands we will be studying in MySQL. So let us see that with the help of a small diagram. The DDL commands are create table, alter table, drop table, truncate, rename. The data manipulation language commands are select, insert, update, delete. And transaction control language commands are commit, rollback and save point. We will be studying all these commands one by one. Any language has data type. A data type is classification that specifies which type of value a variable has and what type of mathematical relational or logical operation can be applied to it without causing an error. Since before you store the data in a computer, you have to specify what type of data Is it a name, or is it just something on which you're going to make some calculations, or is it picture? You have to specify it to the computer, to the DBMS system, so that errors are not made. So some popular data types in MySQL are char, varchar, int, float, double, date, time, and boolean. String data type are char and varchar. Char is fixed length, variable is char is fixed length. When we create data type, we have to write char, and then into bracket we have to pass a number. That number is the total length of this data type. Means if I write 5 here, then in this data type I can store 5 characters. If I write 20 here, that means in this data type I can store 20 characters. It occupies n number of bytes in the memory irrespective of actual length. So if I have written 20 here, it will occupy 20 bytes, even if what I have stored is just this 5 letters. To store this 5 letters, 20 bytes will be occupied in the memory if the data type is char. So where can we use such data type? It can be used for things whose size is fixed, like pin code. We know that pin code, the size is going to be only 6. It's not going to be less, or it's not going to be more. So if you want to store pin code, you can have the data type as char. If you want to store mobile number, you can have the data type as char, because mobile number is also fixed. Varchar, it's a variable length. To create the data type varchar, you have to write varchar, then into bracket you have to specify a number where n is the maximum length. Means if I specify 20, that means I can store 20 characters in it, maximum. Not I can store less, but I cannot store more than 20. And it occupies only number of bytes required. So for example, if I've written varchar 20, but I've stored MySQL which needs only 5 bytes, then only 5 bytes will be occupied in the memory and not 20. That is why it's called variable length. It occupies only number of bytes which are needed. It is used to store data whose size is not fixed. Say name, every name can be of different number of characters. Address can be of different number of characters. So if you want to save name or address, you can use varchar as data type. Numeric data types are int and decimal. There are various others like float and double, but we will be using int and decimal. Int is used to store numbers without decimal places. It can be used to store items like roll numbers or IDs. Decimal place is decimal is the data type which is going to be used if you want to store numbers with decimal points, like 10.5. If you are going to store price of a particular item, price can be in decimal points. So for such data types you need decimals. Marks, like you can have 9.5 marks or 10.5 marks. So to store marks you need decimal data type. Other numeric data types are float, double. The only difference is in precision, but all stores number. Numeric data types are signed or unsigned. Signed data types are used to allow negative numbers, because if you want to store a negative number, you have to write minus sign. So minus is a sign, that is why it's called signed data type. And unsigned data type allows you to only store positive values. The third type of data types is date and time data type, where you can save date and time. These are the 4 data types: date, time, and timestamp. To store date, it stores in the format of YYYY, means 4 digits of year, 2 digits of month, and 2 digits of day. The time, using time data type, you can store a time in the format of hours, minutes and seconds. Now just see, date is separated by dash, time is separated by column. The date time data type stores date and time together. So 4 digits of year, then dash, then 2 digits of month, then dash, then 2 digits of date, then without any space 2 digits of hours, colon 2 digits of minutes, colon 2 digits of seconds. Timestamp allows you to enter date in the same format but without any signs. So that comes to an end of this video. In the next video we are going to start using MySQL. So we are going to study different commands that are used in MySQL. I hope you have understood whatever is there in this video. If any queries, I'll be happy to answer that. Thank you.